Welcome to our program International News, where we bring you news from across the globe. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay.
And I'm Renu Kataria.
First, the headlines. World Bank increases COVID-19 response funding to $14 billion. France says ready to nationalize firms to protect them from bankruptcy due to COVID-19 threat. Government approves flights to bring back Indians stranded at Kuala Lumpur airport due to COVID-19. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India and Bangladesh have given new dimension and direction to the partnership. And French Open tennis tournament postponed till September. World Bank has announced $14 billion to assist companies and countries in their efforts to respond to the rapid spread of COVID-19. It has added $2 billion to the initial package. The announcement came amid fear of a major global recession in the wake of the coronavirus that has impacted more than 120 countries. The package will strengthen national systems for public health preparedness, including for disease containment, diagnosis and treatment, and support the private sector. World Bank President David Malpass said it is essential that we shorten the time to recovery. He added that the World Bank is committed to a fast and flexible response based on the needs of developing countries. France's Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire has said that he is willing to nationalize large companies to protect them from bankruptcy, while warning that the country faces recession this year as the coronavirus epidemic sinks the economy. He announced a €45 billion $50 billion aid package to help businesses and employees cope with the escalating health crisis. During a conference call with journalists, he said that he would not hesitate to use any means at his disposal to protect large French enterprises. He said this could be through capital injections or stake purchases. The minister said he can even use the term nationalization if necessary.
Government has approved Air Asia flights for Delhi and Vizag to help Indians stranded at Kuala Lumpur airport due to the coronavirus outbreak. External Affairs Minister S. Shankar said in a tweet that the flights have been approved as Indian students and other passengers waiting in transit at Kuala Lumpur airport are facing a difficult situation. He asked them to contact the airline, saying that these are tough times and they should understand the precautions. According to reports, over 200 Indians, mostly students, were stuck at Kuala Lumpur airport due to the coronavirus outbreak in the country. India has banned the entry of passengers from European Union countries, Turkey and the UK till 31st of March. It has also closed its borders to those from Afghanistan, the Philippines and Malaysia. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that the coronavirus situation is under control in Russia and outbreaks of infection has been contained. Russia has reported 114 cases of coronavirus, up from 93 on Monday with no fatalities. The country is closing its borders to foreigners and cultural and sports events have been suspended. Russian President told a cabinet meeting that the country is able to contain mass penetration and spread of the pandemic.
In the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, the Thailand government has temporarily suspended visa on arrival for several countries, including India. In an advisory, the Thailand government has temporarily suspended the visa on arrival for nationals and holders of passport or travel documents of several countries from the 13th of March till the 30th of September this year. Visa on arrival of nationals belonging to India, Bulgaria, Bhutan, China, excluding Hong Kong, SAR, Macau, SAR, Cyprus, Ethiopia, Fiji, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Malta, Mexico, Nauru, Papua New Guinea, Romania, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Chinese Taipei, Uzbekistan and Vanuatu have been temporarily suspended. Also, the Thailand government has suspended visa exemption for nationals and holders of passport or travel documents of Italy. Republic of Korea and Hong Kong. According to statistics, Thailand has reported 177 cases and 1 death since the outbreak of COVID-19. The number of confirmed coronavirus cases in Pakistan sharply rose to 237 yesterday. The Sindh province is the worst state with 172 cases, followed by 26 in Punjab, 16 each in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan, 5 in Gilgit-Baltistan and 2 in Islamabad. Prime Minister Imran Khan has warned that the viral infection will spread further in the country.
China yesterday began withdrawing thousands of doctors and medical staff from Wuhan after the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak reported just one confirmed case. with mixed feelings of containing the dreaded COVID-19, but sad over deaths of thousands of people. The first batch of medical assistant teams started leaving Hubei province early today as the epidemic outbreak in the hard-hit province has been subdued. According to official media, over 3,600 medical staffers belonging to 41 medical teams from across China have assisted 14 temporary hospitals and 7 designated hospitals in Wuhan, the provincial capital and the epicenter of the outbreak. Provincial Health Commission said that Wuhan reported just one confirmed case of the COVID-19 and 12 deaths on Monday. The Trump administration is looking at a massive stimulus package of up to $1 trillion to stabilize the U.S. economy shaken by the outbreak of the novel coronavirus. The package includes direct money transfer to every deserving Americans, financial assistance to small and medium businesses, and funds for some of the worst-hit industries like travel and tourism, airlines, cruise and restaurants. It also includes a tax break of the salaried class and businesses.
The coronavirus outbreak is casting a shadow over the re-election campaign of U.S. President Donald Trump. Trump hopes to strengthen support from conservative white working class and gain supporters by stressing the strong economy and labor market. He said in his State of the Union address last month that stock prices are up 70% from the levels during the 2016 presidential election. But as of Monday, prices are only about 10% higher than the level as stock markets have plunged. So far, U.S. news website Real Clear Politics says Trump's average support rate of various surveys stands at 44.5%. But the coronavirus outbreak has triggered criticisms over Trump's crisis management. Trump initially said the outbreak would have a limited impact in the United States, but falling stock prices prompted him to announce economic stimulus measures. Since then, schools have been closed in some areas of the country. Panic buying has caused shortages of goods like toilet paper and food in parts of the U.S. Trump declared a national emergency last week, but candidates in the Democratic presidential race say the measures are not enough. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. During the conversation, the two leaders discussed the global situation regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Modi emphasized the need for coordinated efforts to adequately address this global challenge, which has impacted not only the health and well-being of several 100,000 people, but also threatens to adversely affect the economy in many parts of the world. In this context, the Prime Minister also mentioned India's recent initiative to organize a video conference amongst our countries. The two leaders agreed that similar exercise at the level of G20 leaders under the aegis of Saudi Arabia as the chair of G20 would be useful at a global scale, both for discussing specific measures to address the challenges posed by COVID-19 and also to instill confidence in the global populace. Mr. Modi and the Crown Prince decided that the officials would remain in close contact in this regard.
Iran issued its most dire warning yesterday about the outbreak of the novel coronavirus ravaging the country, suggesting millions could die in the Islamic Republic if the public keeps traveling and ignoring health guidance. A state television journalist who also is a medical doctor gave the warning only hours after hardline Shiite faithful the previous night pushed their way into the courtyards of two major shrines that had just been closed over fears of the virus. Meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei issued a religious ruling prohibiting unnecessary travel in the country. Roughly 9 out of 10 of the over 18,000 cases of the new virus confirmed across the Middle East come from Iran, where authorities denied for days the risk the outbreak posed. Officials have now implemented new checks for people trying to leave major cities ahead of Nowruz, the Persian New Year, on Friday, but have hesitated to quarantine the areas. That's even as the death toll in the country saw another 13% increase today. Health Ministry spokesman Kianosh Jahanpour said the virus has killed 135 more people to raise the total to 988 amid over 16,000 cases. Meanwhile, Jordan prepared for a shutdown of its own over the virus, banning gatherings drawing more than 10 people. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates, visit our News on AIR app and follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. You can also visit our website www.newsonair.com and our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You are listening to our program International News, where we bring you news from across the globe. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel for more updates from across the world. And now some news from Indian states. In Bihar, the government has declared coronavirus as an epidemic. The move gives special powers to the government to deal with the situation. If a suspected case of COVID-19 refuses admission or isolation, the officers authorized will have powers to forcefully admit or isolate such person for a period of 14 days. District administration will have powers to arrest any individual if the owner of any premises confirmed with COVID-19 refuses to take measures for prevention of treatment. Patna District Administration has ordered closure of all shopping malls except super value stores selling essential items like grocery and vegetables till March 31. Stores selling grocery and vegetables have been advised to clean their premises regularly while sanitizing baskets and doors as preventive measures. It was also decided that any inmate would be medically screened for coronavirus before being sent to jail. 311 suspected cases have been reported so far in the state, but none have tested positive. Indo-Nepal border have been put on high alert and schools, colleges and educational institutions have been closed. In Uttar Pradesh, taking precautionary measures in wake of coronavirus spread, the world-famous tourist attraction Taj Mahal at Agra has been closed for tourists till 31st of March. According to Union government guidelines to contain the virus, all other ornaments at Agra, including Agra Fort, Fatehpur Sikri and Sikandra, have also been closed for tourists till the end of this month. It is the second time in history that Taj Mahal's doors have been closed. Earlier, in 1971, during the Indo-Pak War, the Taj Mahal was closed for tourists. In Jammu and Kashmir, Indian Army on Monday organized awareness lectures at remote areas of village Keri, Darhal, Kulali, Gulati and Bisali in twin borders of Rajouri and Poonch of Jammu Division on COVID-19. The medical officer initially briefed about the persisting threat of COVID-19 and how it is spreading in India. He mentioned that coronavirus is a new strain that does not have any previous identity in humans and common signs of infection include respiratory symptoms, fever, cough, shortness of breath and breathing difficulties. The medical officer further said that the best way to prevent illness is to avoid being exposed to this virus. He said that standard recommendation to prevent infection spread include regular hand washing, covering mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing, avoid close contact with people who are sick, avoid touching own nose, eyes and mouth, and stay home when one is sick. A short demonstration of all precautionary measures was also given for better understanding of people. At the end of each lecture, youth, elders and prominent personalities of the areas took pledge to fight the coronavirus with the knowledge and awareness gained from this interaction and also spread awareness in their villages and surrounding areas. In West Bengal, first case of coronavirus infection has come up in Kolkata. One person has been tested positive of coronavirus yesterday. According to Health Department sources, the person has been kept in isolation ward in East Kolkata. The person returned from England last Saturday. He is a student of Cambridge University. After returning from England, he was living with his parents in their house in Kolkata. The mother of the affected person and the driver have also been kept in quarantine.
In Gujarat, Chief Minister Vijay Rupani has appealed to people not to panic but to take all necessary precautions in the wake of COVID-19. Mr. Rupani said the government has taken all the necessary steps to prevent the spread of COVID-19, including closure of all education institutions, multiplexes, national parks, zoos. The government has also decided to close Statue of Unity and nearby places till the 25th of this month. Chief Minister urged people to follow the advisory issued by the Health Department. Our correspondent reports that no positive case of COVID-19 has been found in the state so far. Briefing reporters in Gandhinagar, Principal Secretary, Health and Family Welfare Department, Jayanti Ravi said there are 122 quarantine facilities and 5,670 quarantine beds in the state and more such facilities have been identified in the districts. She said that around 33,584 foreign passengers have been screened so far at Ahmedabad and Surat airports. She added that a total of 95 suspected cases have been reported so far, out of which 90 reports have been found negative, while 4 reports are yet to come. She added the government has imposed fine on spitting in public and collected around 7,85,000 rupees in one day. Indian Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has advised people to follow basic protective measures so that they can keep themselves safe from the novel coronavirus. People should avoid participating in large gatherings. If a person is experiencing cough and fever, he or she should avoid close contact with others. People are advised not to touch their eyes, nose and mouth without cleaning their hands. Spitting in public places should be avoided. All the persons should practice frequent hand washing with soap and water or use alcohol-based hand rub. People should cover their nose and mouth with handkerchief tissue while sneezing and coughing. Used tissues should be thrown into closed bins immediately after use. In case of fever, difficult breathing and cough, doctor should be consulted immediately. While visiting doctor, wear a mask cloth to cover mouth and nose. Health Ministry has issued a toll-free number 1075 for the public for inquiry about coronavirus. It has also issued an email ID ncough2019@gmail.com for any assistance on the pandemic. State governments in Union territories have also issued helpline numbers.
In Karnataka, the number of COVID-19 positive cases has gone up to 10, including one death of 76-year-old man in Kalburgi. The 8 COVID-19 positive patients are in isolation at designated hospitals and are stable. The family doctor who was treating the Kalburgi dead patient is under strict home quarantine after being reported positive. The primary contacts of all the positive patients have been traced and are under strict home quarantine. A meeting was held yesterday under the chairmanship of Additional Chief Secretary of Health and Family Welfare with Airport Health Authorities and Police Department to review quarantine activities as per the guidelines issued by the central government. Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla yesterday reviewed the level of preparedness to contain coronavirus threat with states bordering Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Myanmar. Mr. Bhalla held a video conference with Chief Secretaries, Additional Chief Secretaries and other officials of Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Bihar, West Bengal, Sikkim, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Manipur, Tripura, Nagaland and Meghalaya. The states informed that regular screening is being done by doctors at various transit points and the community in border areas has been sensitized in respect of precautions to be taken to avoid getting infected by the virus through Gram Sabhas. Home Secretary also urged all the officials to ensure that round-the-clock deployment of doctors with requisite testing kits and other medical supplies to be done so that 100% screening is done without fail.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates, visit our News on AIR app and follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. You can also visit our website www.newsonair.com and our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You are listening to our program International News, where we bring you news from across the globe. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel for more updates from across the world. In Telangana, the 5th positive case for coronavirus has been detected. A citizen of Indonesia has been tested positive to the COVID-19. With this, the total number of positive coronavirus cases has gone up to 5 in Telangana. State Health Minister informed media that primary contacts traced and quarantined. He further informed that 221 persons have been kept in quarantine centers at various places. It may be recalled that one person has been discharged after treatment from 14-day quarantine ward at Gandhi Hospital in Hyderabad. The remaining are in the same hospital in Hyderabad under medical supervision. The World Health Organization has lauded the efforts made by health workers of Chhattisgarh to make people aware of combating coronavirus. A report.
In tribal Sarguja division of Chhattisgarh, the women health workers known as Asha workers are doing their best to make aware the community about personal hygiene and healthy practices. They are giving live demonstration of right techniques of hand washing in rural and slum areas of the region. World Health Organization has not only acknowledged but also appreciated the efforts and steps taken by the Asha workers to combat coronavirus. The Director General of WHO, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, in its tweet thanked the Asha workers for their efforts. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
Spain yesterday confirmed nearly 2,000 new cases of COVID-19, sending the total spiraling past 11,000 with 491 deaths. The Health Ministry said over the past 24 hours, the number of people infected rose by 1,987, hiking the overall total to 11,178. The ministry's emergency coordinator, Fernando Simon, said the number of people who had recovered stood at 1,098. The Saudi Ministry of Health yesterday reported 38 new cases of the novel coronavirus COVID-19 in the country. According to the Saudi press agency, the total number of registered cases of the novel coronavirus in the kingdom is now 171. 6 cases of recovery have been reported, while the rest of cases are currently isolated in health facilities.
Due to the rapid outbreak of COVID-19 and the suspension of air flights with a number of countries, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has urged Emiratis abroad to return to the homeland as part of the precautionary measures taken by the United Arab Emirates to ensure the safety of its citizens. In a statement yesterday, MOFAIC called on Emirati students and nationals receiving medical treatment overseas to communicate with the UAE embassies and respective host countries for coordination in this respect. The ministry urged UAE nationals to coordinate with the nearest UAE diplomatic missions overseas for this purpose. Emiratis abroad also urged to register at Tawajudi through the ministry's website and mobile application. Meanwhile, 7 new cases of the novel coronavirus COVID-19 have come to light in Kuwait within the last 24 hours, bringing the total of infections to 130, the Kuwait news agency quoted the health ministry as saying today. Health Ministry spokesman Dr. Abdullah Al-Sanad said that all newly announced cases were for Kuwaiti citizens returning from the UK. Out of the 130 in total, 12 cases recovered and 118 are still receiving treatment, he pointed out. The US yesterday announced sanctions on several companies in Pakistan and UAE for their alleged contributions to Pakistan's unsafeguarded nuclear and missile programs. Efforts by companies to illicitly procure U.S. technologies in support of unsafeguarded weapons of mass destruction programs are unacceptable and will not be tolerated. U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross said weeks after his return from Pakistan, the Department of Commerce will continue to aggressively investigate and designate parties who do so.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates, visit our News on AIR app and follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. You can also visit our website www.newsonair.com and our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You're listening to our program International News, where we bring you news from across the globe. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel for more updates from across the world. India has rejected the reference to Jammu and Kashmir in the joint statement issued by China and Pakistan after the recent visit of Pakistani President to China. In response to a query, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Ravi said, Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. He said issues related to it are internal matter of India. The spokesperson said India expects other countries, including China, not to comment on matters that are internal affairs and also to respect India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. India strongly objected to and reiterated its concerns to both China and Pakistan on China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is in the territory of India that has been illegally occupied by Pakistan since 1947. The spokesperson said India is opposed to any actions by other countries to change the status quo in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. New Delhi called on parties concerned to cease such actions and said such illegal activities will never be accepted by India. United States has placed the new leader of the Islamic State group on its blacklist of terrorists, naming him as Amir Mohammad Abdul Rahman al-Mawli. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that al-Mawli was named leader of the ultra-violent group after an October raid by U.S. commandos killed its chief Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. The organization had earlier named Abu Ibrahim al-Hashmi al-Qureshi as its new head, but U.S. officials acknowledged they knew little about him and later came to believe that the Islamic State group is using his nom de guerre.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said India and Bangladesh have given new dimension and direction to the partnership due to growing trust between the two nations. In his video message to mark the birth centenary celebrations of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Mr. Modi said the two countries have been able to amicably resolve complex issues such as land and maritime boundaries. Prime Minister said today Bangladesh is not only India's biggest trading partner in South Asia, but also development partner. Mr. Modi said electricity generated in India is lighting up lakhs of houses and factories in Bangladesh. Prime Minister said in the last 5 to 6 years, India and Bangladesh have scripted a golden chapter of bilateral ties. Mr. Modi said be it road, rail, air, waterway or internet, our cooperation in several sectors is connecting people of the two countries even more. He said the shared heritage of the two nations comes from intellectuals like Rabindranath Tagore, Qazi Nazrul Islam, Ustad Alauddin Khan, Lalan Shah, Jivananda Das and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. He said Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman devoted every moment of his life towards bringing Bangladesh out of the phase of devastation and genocide. Prime Minister said Bangabandhu turned Bangladesh into a positive and progressive society, as he was absolutely clear that hatred and negativity can never be the foundation of any country's development. Mr. Modi said Bangladesh is moving ahead inspired by Bangabandhu and under the leadership of Sheikh Hasina with inclusive and development-oriented policies. Prime Minister said be it economy and other social indices of sports, Bangladesh is setting new benchmarks today. It has made unprecedented progress in many fields like skill, education, health, women empowerment, microfinance, Mr. Modi said. A report on this occasion by Dhaka correspondent Rajesh Jha.
17th March, the birth centenary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. On this day, 100 years back, was born the man who was destined to be the father of the newest nation in South Asia. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, lovingly called Bangabandhu, led the struggle of then East Pakistan against the oppressive Pakistani rulers, finally culminating in the birth of Bangladesh in December 1971. He is revered in Bangladesh as father of the nation. Bangladesh is celebrating his birth centenary today. The sky of Bangladesh is lit with fireworks as bright and beautiful as the life of the Bangabandhu. As the sky lit with beautiful fireworks, people gathered on all sides of the historic Sohrawardi Udyan. They broke a spontaneous and joyful slogan of Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu. The nation remembers its greatest son with deep commitment to his ideals of an inclusive and progressive Bangladesh. Born in the town of Tungipara in the undivided India in the year 1920, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman won the general election of 1970 for the Pakistan Parliament, but he was not allowed to assume his legitimate post of the Prime Minister of Pakistan. People of Eden East Pakistan rose in rebellion against the oppressive regime of West Pakistan and with active support of India won their independence in 1971. Government of Bangladesh has declared the year starting today as the Mujib Show to commemorate and pay respect to the man who won liberation for the country. Glory to the struggle of Bangabandhu, glory to his vision to build Sonar Bangla. Rajesh Jha for Airnews and Doordarshan, Prasad Bharati, Dhaka.
And now for some sports news. The French Open tennis has been postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic and will take place from 20th September to 4th October. Organizers said the Grand Slam event was to be taken place from 24th May to 7th June. The new dates would mean the tournament would start just 1 week after the US Open if that event remains in its scheduled slot. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, yesterday said it is not the time for drastic decisions over the staging of the Tokyo Olympics, which has not yet been postponed because of the deadly coronavirus pandemic. The IOC said in a statement after its executive board met in Lausanne that it remains fully committed to the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. The Tokyo Olympics are scheduled to run between 24th July to 9th August. The IOC statement fell shortly after both this summer's Euro 2020 and Copa America tournaments were postponed by 1 year to 2021. U.S. President Donald Trump has suggested the Japanese capital also postpone the Olympics for 12 months, although Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe responded by pledging his country would host the Games as planned and saying he has no immediate intention to declare a state of emergency over the virus outbreak.
The Euro 2020 football tournament has been postponed by 1 year until 2021 because of the coronavirus pandemic. This was stated by the Norwegian Football Association. It said that the decision was taken at an emergency video conference convened by European football's governing body, UEFA, involving major stakeholders today. The Norwegian FA said it was decided that the tournament would now take place from 11 June to 11th of July next year. The tournament was due to take place from 12 June to 12th of July this year at 12 venues across Europe. And now, before we close, here are the headlines once again. World Bank increases COVID-19 response funding to $14 billion. France says ready to nationalize firms to protect them from bankruptcy due to COVID-19 threat. Government approves flights to bring back Indians stranded at Kuala Lumpur Airport due to COVID-19. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India and Bangladesh have given new dimension and direction to the partnership. And French Open tennis tournament postponed till September.
With that, we end the international news bulletin. Have a nice day.